What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Danny the Bull back with a Friday afternoon live stream. Bitcoin's at $105,000. We had possibly the most bullish week in the history of crypto. Just absolute, bombshell after bombshell in terms of news and catalysts. And yet I'm hearing that alt season is dead and canceled and it's not going to happen, and that this time is different. So I wanted to make a video, talk about it, the overall market, what I'm thinking, go over some things, go over the news, talk about our favorite alts. There are some updates on DevvE, on Metacade this week. So we'll get into those. We'll get into all the alts that you want to talk about to make sure that you're all active in the chat. Let's see who we got in here thus far. Jomi in the house. What's good, my German brother? How are you? Harish in the house. What's going on? Cash gains in the house. Mega bullish. Absolutely. I'm bullish. Danny the Bull is always bullish. Timo in the house. What's going on, brother? Base Labs. That's exactly why alt season will happen, because a lot of people say it won't happen. Yeah, and I think this is very common around this, when everyone's anxious for it to happen. They're so anxious for it to happen that when it's not happening just yet, according to their own timelines, they freak out. And you couple that with some fear mongering, right? And I think we've been getting some fear mongering from some people in crypto. And I think that's what, they kind of like, then it spreads, right? It's easy to freak people out in this space because of the volatility, because people have been waiting for this for so long, because they're in, small alts and not everything is run. But I'm going to show you that I think everything's going according to plan in terms of where we are at this stage in the market. And I do believe we're going to get that alt season. I'm going to go in to the case against an alt season as laid out by Rand from Crypto Banter. I watched his video yesterday. I don't know if he's the one who kind of set off a lot of that talk, but we'll discuss it. Daddy Detour's in the house. My portfolio is getting Jenna Jameson right now. What's good, brother? Yeah, thank God for DevvE. DevVE's holding it up. Mcade also holding it up for a lot of people. What's good, Russ G in the house? So let's get into it. All right, Bitcoin currently at $105,000. We wicked. I think we went up to 107 today. We were pushing up against it, man. We're pushing up against it, flirting with those all-time highs. We had perhaps the most bullish week in the history of this entire space. Think about it. I know a week in crypto is feels like months, but think about it. It's been 7 days, right, since the crypto ball. So we had the first crypto ball, black tie affair, hosted by the President of the United States. We had the President of the United States launch 2 meme coins over the weekend, and people, like that, hate that, regardless. You had the President of the United States launch 2 meme coins over the weekend. You had Gary Gensler resign from the SEC, right? One of the biggest negative overhangs on this space is gone, vanquished forever. You had the initiation of a crypto task force headed by David Sachs. You had the release of Ross from Silk Road. He was freed. You had an executive order on a digital asset stockpile, not just Bitcoin. I know Bitcoin maxis don't love that, but think about how bullish that is for this whole space. Is not only is the United States government talking about a stockpile for Bitcoin, They're talking about for digital assets. And people think that we're not going to get an alt season and that alts aren't going to run. That's crazy to me. You've got the repeal of SAB 121, right, which stated that banks had to count, the Bitcoin as a liability against their balance sheet, which deterred them from custodying Bitcoin on behalf of their clients. That's gone. All right. That alone, Michael Saylor hails as, as a catalyst to propel Bitcoin to like $5 million, $5 million a coin. Michael Saylor is a little lost in the sauce on Bitcoin. He's a big, but that's, how important that is, that it opens up, the banking system to Bitcoin and digital assets. Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, the biggest asset manager in the world, over $10 trillion under his management or his firm's management, said that Bitcoin could hit $700,000 and talked about welcoming regulation for tokenization of stocks and bonds. That's real world assets. David Sachs, newly appointed crypto czar, said that NFTs and meme coins are digital collectibles. All of these things happened in the last 7 days. And I'm seeing on my timeline people saying alt seasons are canceled forever. We're never going to have an alt season again. And, all these crazy things, which they're just speculative in nature. They're fear driven. And I think reactionary to the fact that small alts have not yet gone up, but many big alts have. And in fact, we're pretty much where we were last cycle in terms of alt season. And we're going to get into that in a second. A lot of people expected Bitcoin to, and it tried to get to new all-time highs. Look at this week. It's been absolutely wild. Look at this chart as bipolar on Bitcoin. It was wild. The moves up and down were absolutely wild. All right, you had, 105 down to, this is a 5% move. Then you have a 10% move. Then you have another 10% move, opposite direction. 8% move, 8% move. This is absolutely wild, right? The market trying to figure out, are we going higher? Are we breaking above, 109? But I think the market's waiting for Wednesday, which is when the Fed will determine whether or not we're getting another rate cut, which we're not. It's 99% chance we're going to get a pause, which I think is already priced in. But more importantly than that, it's whether or not Jerome Powell comes off as hawkish or dovish. And that'll cause short-term volatility next week. Regardless, barring an economic meltdown, I think we're going higher. And remember that Jerome Powell was hawkish in December. And where are we now? Right back to previous all-time highs. Matter of fact, we broke it. We wicked to 109. So we'll see what happens Wednesday. And I think the market's kind of waiting on that. But long term, the trend is still up and to the right. And the 4-year cycle thesis has not yet been invalidated. And until it has, it hasn't. Right? And, people will come up with reasons for why this time is different, but it's never been different just yet. All right, I'm going to get into the reasons why they say this time is different. And I'll talk about why I don't think that is, why they're wrong, why I think that they are wrong. And it might be a little different, right? It might play out a little different, but I firmly believe we're going to get an alt season because there's too much money to be made, right? There's way too much money to be made. We're going to get an alt season. But before I go into the reasons against it, let's see who we got up in here. See what you guys are saying. Timo, I think this administration is ready to make, that's their organization. 100%. I do think that they are ready to make it big. They are, half of Trump's net worth is now in crypto. Between his meme coins, between his son's crypto venture, between his Ethereum that he holds from his NFTs that he got. All right. So they are highly incentivized. And he wants to juice all markets, right? It's not just crypto. It's how he measures success. HG in the house. What's going on, brother? Marcus Jones in the house. OG Vault in the house. Yeah, I think we're going to get that pump. I agree with Ron. A lot was priced in, but I do think that we're going higher. Sam in the house. Oops, sorry. We got Vedron in the house. Let's see what else here. I think the alt run. My mom is calling me. I have to hang up on her. I think the alt run could be far more selective due to the dilution of projects. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. So these are the reasons why, I think a lot of people say that this time is different. And this is what kind of ran from Crypto Banter got into. And some of these are very valid points, right? Heavy dilution, more coins now than ever before. I totally agree with this. There are more coins now than ever before. There are thousands minted a day. However, keep in mind that 99% of those thousands that are minted every day go to zero, right? They're shit coins. And so, yeah, you can mint as many coins as you want, but 99% of them are trending to zero. Also, keep in mind that there were way more coins in existence in 2020, 2021 cycle as the previous than the previous cycle. And people said the same thing then. Granted, there are more now, especially meme coins, AI agents. But we're still on pace to see more coins get to higher valuations. And if you remember, I made this, and I show this all the time. I made this a year ago. All right, this isn't like, something that's new. I made this a year ago, thinking out to where would we be this cycle. All right, I think a lot of people say the same thing, $6 to $9 trillion. But then I thought, what would that look like? All right, in the first cycle, not the first cycle, but the first like alt season, 2018, the market went to 760 billion total market cap. 2021, 3 trillion. This cycle, I think we'll go to 6 to 9 trillion. We're already at $3.5 trillion market cap. Right? So I estimated that we'd have 5 coins get to 100 billion or more. And look where we're at. We're already there. You've got Bitcoin, you've got Ethereum, XRP, Solana, BNB. We already have 5. All right, that was my estimate. I think we'll get more. I think we'll get maybe Doge, maybe, Cardano. Maybe we'll get up to 7. All right, so this is playing out as expected. I said I thought we'd have 22 coins get to a $50 billion market cap. Last cycle, we had approximately 9. And let's see where we're at, if we're on pace for that. 22 coins, 50 billion. Do I think Chainlink is going to 4x? I do. Do I think that Sui is going to 5x and get there? I do. Right? If you go down, is Pepe going to 10x from here? I think so. Can Near get there? It could. We're on pace for that. Go down, further down the risk curve. I said, I think 750 projects will get to a $500 million market cap. We had 275 touch it about last cycle. How many are currently there? Look at this. Almost 200 already. For context, Metacade is like the 700th biggest coin by market cap. And I've always said that I see it at least 500 million. If it stays in the top 750, it will get there. We are on pace. If you look at the total market cap of crypto, we are back to where we were at the top of last cycle. Total market cap by crypto. Where were we at this point last cycle? Right here. This is January of 2021. Right back, it was in the same place at the previous all-time high of the previous cycle. And what happened afterwards? So do we not expect this to shoot up? And then when it does, and we inevitably get to $6 to $9 trillion, where is that $6 to $9 trillion go? Where is that going to be spread out? You think it's all going to Bitcoin? Bitcoin's at a $2 trillion market cap. If it goes up 50%, it goes to 3 trillion. That's 1 trillion. Where's the other 2 trillion going? It's going to flow as it always does. It's like a stack of cups, and the first cup on top is Bitcoin. And then the next layer are big caps, and below that are like the mid caps, then the small caps. And you fill the water in Bitcoin and it flows out, etc., until it reaches the bottom. We're in the same place pretty much as we were last cycle. And if you look at this is the alt. We go through this all the time. We're at a 49 right now. This is the altcoin season index. You go back to January 2021. We're right there. It's the same. I think the halving last cycle was in May. So maybe, we're a month behind right now, but even still, we're in the same ballpark. We're right here. So yeah, there is, not, the thousands of shitcoins that get released every day, 99% of them are trending to zero, but there's way more money in this space. Your top, 1,000 coins, your top 1,500 coins should still be over 100 million in market cap. And they've been trending in that direction. We just don't feel it. If you're in all low caps, you just don't feel it yet. But this is, the precursor to alt season. Is look at the charts. Look at XRP. Look at SUI. The market is doing what it's done, right? Big caps are moving first. This is alt season, all right? Not alt season, but on the way to alt season. This is what happens. The big caps move first. All right, so yeah, there are more coins now than ever, but there'll be more money than ever. 99% of coins are going to trend to zero, and I think we're going to get rotation this year, this cycle. And so maybe AI tops out at one point and then the money moves into gaming. And so all these coins can see money flow through them, just not at the same time. All right. So I think that's how that'll work out. But I do think, to say that we're not going to get an alt season because there are more coins, I think is wrong. Then they say, well, and this is true. 2021 from a macro level, where is it? Is this it? Yeah. 2021 had unprecedented QE, right? Money printing right here. This is all money that was entering the system, and it went into, this is very favorable to high risk assets, right? And small caps benefit from that greatly. And now look at us. We're in the opposite. This is QT, right? This is a diminishing supply, right? They're cutting. But look back to 2017. Where was it? Here. 2017, we had an alt season here with a flat, right? Without QE pumping through the system. And look at how markets have reacted over the last year with QT. NASDAQ has been up and to the right. The S&P has been up and to the right in spite of QT. So, this is kind of like there's a saying that markets climb a wall of worry. And, they say that, risk assets can't possibly go up. We had a mini alt season in the middle of QT back in the end of 2023. Right? Where is it? Yeah, here. Right? When gaming and a bunch of coins went parabolic. This lasted from December through March. We had a little alt season. All right, so in spite of QT, AI tech went from a penny to 45 cents. In spite of QT, Rio went from 10 cents to $3. In fact, Rio was a penny. If you go back and look at Rio, it was a penny in the summer of 2023. And in spite of QT, in this environment, it did a 300x. So risk assets can indeed still go up, and they have. And we had that mini pump prior to the halving, just like we had one prior to last halving. Look at the chart. We had an altcoin run in, this is it, November of 2019 through April. Okay, alts were hot, dumped off into the halving, brief resurgence. Bitcoin dominance went to 70%, right around in December of 2020 before alt season. And so last cycle, pre-halving, there was an alt season. This cycle, pre-halving, we had our mini alt season. So things have played out exactly the same despite different market conditions. Okay, even though we have tightening, we still had a gaming run. We still had a mini alt season, just like we've always done. And so people will say this time is different. But thus far, it's not been different, because if this time was different, this chart would not look like this, right? Risk assets are not supposed to go up like this in this type of environment. But they have, and they will continue to do so. All right, and at some point, they're going to cut rates, and they're going to start money printing again. And maybe then we get a blow off top and we get, a melt up. And in hindsight, it's going to be, very easy to understand in hindsight. But the problem is having foresight and sitting through the day-to-day volatility when the market doesn't meet your expectation. And right now, if you're sitting in a lot of small alts, your portfolio is experiencing some pain. If you're sitting in big alts, it feels like alt season. You're having a totally different experience. But if you're sitting in small alts, it feels painful. And then you wonder, are these things going to go up? But thus far, we've learned, don't bet against the cycle, right? We never bet against the cycle. It's never worked out for people. People did it last cycle, and they said, this cycle's a super cycle. Even Benjamin Cohen said, this is a super cycle. And it wasn't. The cycle ended. And this cycle, alts are going to go, Bitcoin's going to go, and people are going to say, this is an institutional cycle. It's a forever cycle. It's going to be like the stock market. It's going to go up in forever. They're going to say it's different. It's never been different. And until it is, I'm not betting against the cycle. All right. So that was what's his name? Crypto Ran Newer, Crypto Banter guy. That was his second reason. His third reason was institutions are buying Bitcoin this time as opposed to retail, so money won't rotate. Yeah, it's true also, is that institutions are buying Bitcoin. I don't know retail buying Bitcoin at $100,000. Michael Saylor's buying Bitcoin at $100,000. But guess what? You know what retail's buying? They're buying a shit ton of XRP. They're buying Dogecoin. They're buying Solana. They're buying Cardano, Chainlink, Stellar, Hedera. They're buying these coins, and that money is going to rotate. People think that Bitcoin is the only thing that people rotate out of. Solana is going to be a potentially a $400 billion asset this cycle. You don't think all these people who accumulated Solana for 3 years are going to rotate that into Solana coins? Just like last cycle, Ethereum rotated to Ethereum coins. You don't think that people are going to rotate out of XRP? Well, maybe not XRP. Those guys will hold to the bottom again. But ADA and Dogecoin and all these other coins, you don't think money's going to rotate out of big caps? And so, that's the third argument, is that institutions are buying Bitcoin. Plenty of retail, plenty of regular crypto people have accumulated Bitcoin this cycle at low prices. I did. I already rotated it. Plenty of people accumulated Bitcoin at 15,000, 25,000, etc. And they also accumulated Solana and these other coins. You don't think that money's going to rotate to small caps as it's done every time? And so, I think that it's fear. The fear is overstated. And I feel like, there are two schools, there are two reasons why people are saying these types of things. One of them is based on fear, speculation, because they're in, their portfolios are in pain. The second reason is because there's fear mongering that takes place, specifically from places like Crypto Banter, right? Who one day he moved all into all alts, and he's shilling, Gummy, a meme coin Gummy. And then on the next, another video, he says, we'll never have another alt season. Here's why. And it's clickbaity, and it's fear mongering, and it's contrarian for the sake of being contrarian in order to be, to provoke people. And so this is not a time to be fading this whole market when this was just dropped, strengthening American leadership in digital financial technology. There's no greater setup for this space than now. Year after the halving, executive order, there is no better setup. And so there are two things to think of, to ask yourself. The first question is the top in on Bitcoin? Right? If you think the top is in on Bitcoin, then this is a wrap. Right? I don't think the top is in on Bitcoin, right? There are no signs that the top is in on Bitcoin. And then the other question is, do you think that we are going to a $6 to $9 trillion total market cap? We're already at a $3.5 trillion market cap. And historically, we have another 10 months. And so if you think that we're going to a $6 to $9 trillion market cap, where the hell is that money going? It's not going into 10 altcoins. It's going to be spread out. There's too much money to be made. And it doesn't take a lot of money to move markets that are this small. This is not people overestimate the size of this market. The total market cap of crypto is like $1 trillion, right? Excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, a little over 1 trillion. It's less than Meta. It's less than Tesla stock. It's less, the whole space of all of the alts combined are worth less than single companies trading on the stock market. It's why Trump coin sucked liquidity out of the market. That's how small this space is that when Trump coin got released, it sucked liquidity out of all the other small caps. And now think what happens when that happens in reverse and money rotates throughout the space. So I think that the fear is overblown, and the best thing to do is just sit back and wait. Wednesday will be a pivotal short-term, I think, volatile day. We'll see what Jerome Powell says. But, I don't know how you can be bearish when look at, the Google Trends searches on how to buy crypto. What does this look like? Look where we are right now. January 2025. Where were we January 2021? All right, we had, look at this. We had this bump up. This is December of 2020. This is December 2024. New all-time high there. And then we went parabolic. This is the exact same in terms of social behavior that's taking place at this point in the market to what took place at this point in the market. And you've got all these bullish catalysts. You're going to hear more about a digital reserve stockpile. You're going to see more of this. Trump crypto plans have Wall Street CEOs ready to jump into digital assets. I would not be shocked if Meta, who wanted to launch their own coin last cycle and was attacked for it by the previous administration, if they did it again, now that they have regulatory framework. They wanted to launch their own coin. I would not be shocked if more companies put not only Bitcoin, but other digital assets on their balance sheet. Morgan Stanley CEO Ted Pick says bank will work with U.S. regulators on offering crypto. Not just Bitcoin, crypto. So, I don't know. I think that people are bugging out a little bit. They need to chill out. Let's get back into the chat. Season 3 OG, did Tectum go under $3, or are you saying that you want it to? It would be juicy. 339, man. It's probably going to get there. 340. What a sell-off. This lost support. And I had Ron on the channel last week or so, and he said this looks like it's losing support. And if it does, expect lower prices. It lost support. And Tectum, and this is, a lot, the result of their poor communication and whatnot. But fundamentally, Tectum, I think, can have a strong bounce back. I just ghosted my mom. I know, she's 80. I feel bad. She texted me. All right, it was nothing important. Thoughts on Mint Layer? Yeah, I feel Mint Layer is kind of in the same boat as Tectum. And it's funny because their charts move in similar ways. Like they both topped out in right here pretty much at the same time. And the chart looks very similar. Oh, this is Mint Layer. I mean, this is Tectum. Let's pull up Mint Layer. So this peaked, within days of Tectum. So both of them are in that Bitcoin scaling narrative. Both ran hard at the same time, January 2024. Both have lost support. I don't feel worried about it. It's not the only coin that's lost support. There's nothing fundamentally different about it. It's at a $9 million market cap now. I think that's a buy. It's lost support. I don't know. I didn't do TA on it to see if I don't think it'll go much lower. It's at a $9 million market cap. If you liked Mint Layer at 15 cents or 20 cents, nothing fundamentally changed with it, right? And the thing about these is the move up is violent. Right, when they go back up, they get violent to the upside, and so I see. I don't know if this is Robin RB Bin asked about DevvE. DevvE didn't feel good. DevvE didn't feel good down here. It was underperforming Tectum and Mint Layer. It was at 14 cents. But it was fundamentally sound. And I added a bunch down here, and now it's up here. And so don't let price dictate your conviction, because this is a mind-bending space, and price will get killed irrationally to the downside on a lot of projects. And if fundamentally it's sound and you believe in it and you think that the narrative is strong and it's, then there's nothing to worry about. I'm going to get into DevvE in a second. But, mint layer, I think there, it's positioned in this real world asset space, and it's a Bitcoin DeFi play. I still like that narrative. I still love RWA, specifically when you've got Larry Fink talking about it. And when alts break out, moves are violent. Okay, so this was, remember, this was 3 cents in November of last year. It was 3 cents, and it went to $1. That's a 30x, right? 10x, yeah, that's a 30x. Remember that. That's in 8 weeks. It didn't feel good to hold this down here. So the question is, do you believe in it? Do you like it? And do you think that Bitcoin DeFi will have a run? I would just, my thing is just be diversified. I'm fine with holding it. DevvE went up, and so I'm not stressing this. And they're not all going to go up at the same time. But I'm diversified, and I got a couple things that have bounced, and I'll just wait on the others. There was a point when Metacade was, every gaming coin was running except for Metacade, and now Metacade was the only one that's run. But, I accumulated Metacade because I believed in it fundamentally. I believed in the team. I love what Russ is doing and the whole team over there. And I bought down here, and it did a 10x super quick. Metacade was, half a penny in November. It hit 5 cents in December. 1 month. And then when you're up here, now you think, it's going to, $1, right? Because price dictates narrative often, and price will dictate sentiment. So my thing is just, formulate your thesis on why you're holding something, why you think it'll perform. And I would just diversify. And that's it, man. Don't let you can't get shaken out, because it's so easy to get shaken out. I bought things that immediately went down. I bought Top Hat recently, right? I told you guys I like Top Hat. I still like Top Hat. I bought it at 55 million. It went down to 30 million. But this is the market. This is, it's a highly volatile space. And I still believe in it. I'm not selling it. I'll accumulate more, but I'm out of dry powder, so I can't. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I think about mint layer in terms of, and I'm gonna get to all of your comments. DevvE is, I love DevvE. I think DevvE, I bought more DevvE at $1.30. I'll average up on something if I like it. If I think something's going to go to, into billions, I'll average up on it. And I averaged up on DevvE. I bought more at $1.30. When it dropped down here. And DevvE just released, where is it? So DevvE just released this news, an important step towards launch for DevX Exchange, which is coming out presumably later in the year. They just received licensing for DevX Exchange. And if you're not familiar, this always happens. If you're not familiar with DevX, it's a big deal, right? It's no middleman, so it's peer-to-peer, there's no counterparty risk, instant settlement transactions, regulatory compliant in every jurisdiction. And they say they've just partnered with a major well-known financial institution. I've seen people speculate that's NASDAQ. I don't know if that's NASDAQ. Can you imagine that that's NASDAQ, though? Even if it's not, and it's like, I don't know, BlackRock, who else? I don't know who it could be. I've heard a bunch of things being floated out. Any major platform is going to give this mostly unknown blockchain / exchange major headlines. And so I'm very bullish on DevvE. I interviewed Austin last week. Go check it out. Austin's great. He's the community manager over there. I'm very, very bullish on DevvE. Redo, I like Redo. It's been terrible price-wise. I think got a little bounce. I held some and I sold it just to buy something else. It's performed terribly. It's at 9 cents. All-time high of $1.30 or something. Just went to $130 million market cap. I think a few things on Redo. I want to say that this big pump was, I don't know, Crashes Clay had called it as one of his infinity stones for meme coins. He's picking one on 5 different chains, and his pick was Redo, and his thesis was it would get to 5 billion because it would make up 5% of Ton's market cap, which is currently sitting at $12 billion, right? Because usually the top meme coin will take up a certain market cap of an exchange. Of a blockchain. I think that Ton has been mostly flat and sideways. And as a result, there hasn't been too much going on. It's dropped down from, it might have been top 10. It was definitely, 12. It might have been even top 10, but it's been very flat. And it's, this is almost a year now. Yeah, it's been almost a year for Ton Network. And I think that's partly why we've seen Resistance Dog bleed. And I think that Ton has to break out in order, and all of meme coins, it's not, meme coins have gotten hit hard recently. Even if you look at things like Mumu the Bull was at like a $300 million market cap or something. And now it's at 25 million. So meme coins were hot. Meme coins were hot in the summer when utility was dead and everything was boring. Meme coins were hot. Now meme coins are not. And meme coins are suffering. And that's across chains. They're suffering. AI was hot recently, AI agents. And so, a lot of money flew into big caps. So some of this is rotational, I think, for Redo. I think it still has the potential to do well. But I think that Ton Network has to make some noise. I do like the fact, they endorse it, so that's bullish, right? And it would be great if Durov, if he got arrested again, that'd be great for Redo. Not hoping he gets arrested. Yeah. And who knows what's going on behind the scenes with them. Where do you think we are on the Wall Street sheet? Let me see. Let me pull it up in images. Well, for Bitcoin, I think we are in thrill. For alts, I think we're in, I don't know, maybe. It doesn't feel like it, but I think we're in optimism belief right now on alts. right? We're not there in the thrill zone. For Bitcoin, I think we're in thrill, and I think that euphoria is coming later in the year. And then, but alts lag Bitcoin, right? And so Bitcoin will top out, altcoins will top out afterwards. Yeah. Turbo. Turbo is holding up. 400 million still. Let's see. You know, Turbo is actually holding up kind of decently. It went to, this hit $1 billion. I mean, you could get further downside if it loses this right here, 5 cents. You could go down to here, get back into the threes. I wouldn't be surprised if this bled some more. But, you know, it's got, I mean, it's been around. I think that it's performed very well, and I would expect it to go into the billions, you know, at least break $1 billion again when meme coins run again. I do think that meme coins are going to get hot again, right? And I think at that point you're going to see coins like Turbo come back, but short term, I think you could bleed down some more if you can't break this downtrend. Can't wait for the cycle to be over. It's been an absolute effing corrupt joke. I mean, it's wild, man. The whole thing is wild. It's, you know, this space is, there's no doubt that this space is, there's a lot, you know, it's scammy. There's a lot of bad things going on. There's a lot of crazy shit. And at some point, you know, you do feel like this place is a joke, right? Specifically, this cycle has been crazier because of all the meme coins. But I'm looking forward to I'm tired, the grind, man. I want to get my money. OG Vault. I mean, I think that Trump coin's gonna perform this cycle. I don't think that it's at $31. $6 billion market cap. Total FDV is 31 billion. You know, I hate the tokenomics. You know, but I think that it's going to continue to do well. I think it'll be a top meme coin this cycle. There's no one more memeable than Trump. He's a walking meme. Everything he does is memeable. He's got his YMCA dance. He's got his catchphrases, the way he talks. Everything that he does is memeable, and he's got his own meme coin. That's his official meme coin. So it's up to you, brother. But I think it'll still go up. I think it'll do well. Do you know MLC gaming coin on Polygon? In February, they will include the token into the game. They will announce GAFAM partnership, and they have Candy Crush behind it. Oh, nice, Candy Crush. And Ubisoft is involved. I don't know it. I don't really like that it's on Polygon. Oh, My Lovely Planet. I've heard of that. I've heard of that. I mean, the yearly looks pretty good. It got a nice jump up in December. And I think it's always good to have Candy Crush behind it. You know, those are little things that, you know, drive narratives. I do think that we'll get another gaming run at some point. When that happens, I don't know. But, you know, solid games. I personally just like sticking to ecosystems because otherwise you're contingent upon the success or failure of a game. And I think they're hard to break through. So that's why I chose Metacade and Naka. But I like the fact that the Candy Crush people are behind it. I think that's a really good narrative. Yeah, so DevvE, the dilution is done for the next year, I believe, throughout the rest of this year. So there was heavy dilution on Metacade. It was at like, let me pull up, let's go to the website, see if I can find it real quick. So a lot of the negative sentiment on DevvE came as a result of the tokenomics and the dilution that was incurred over the summer, because when it launched with like 10% in circulating supply, and there was heavy unlocks every month. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Nah, I don't know. But yeah, I think the unlocks are pretty much done now for the next year, which is all it's all I care about, right? Is what happens over the next year. After that, there'll be some more unlocks, but yeah, so Medicaid, let's talk about that. Russ had his AMA yesterday, and they just keep on building. So in his AMA, and I didn't catch the whole thing, I caught most of it. They talked about a new partnership to facilitate upgraded branding. So they're going to be working on continue rebranding and amping up socials, right? Their targets are 100,000 followers on X. They've been increasing their social game. They're currently at 64K. This was at 44,000 a month or so ago. So their next target is 100,000. They're looking to ramp up engagement in their Telegram and get, and ramp that up. So they're heavily focused on their socials. They're heavily focused on continuing a rebrand. They dropped this Metacade Black Card yesterday. This had been mentioned a while back. I remember Russ saying this, but it's basically a credit card, I think, with, I don't know if it's Medicaid rewards. You spend your Medicaid or something, but it's Mcade's integrated in there. And this is their partnership with Avark. All right, so Metacade is on a mission to redefine Web3 gaming, and we're thrilled to be joining them on this exciting journey. This is Avark's. This is a Web3 design agency. So it's good to see them continuously trying to improve, move the needle. This is what Russ has done. They've got their AI agents integrated, into their agentic podcast, right? And that's they're gonna include more AI voice agents in their gaming ecosystem. Gangs of Metacadia is live. Over 50 people are playing it. $10,000 on-chain rewards. So these guys just keep on grinding, and I love to see it. And they just have a new partnership today, and that's with Cornucopia. Where's that? Here, Cornucopia. New on Medicaid, Cornucopia game. All right, and so I don't think Cornucopia is doing too well. Copy. This is on Cardano, in the Cardano ecosystem last I checked, unless they migrated. I'm not sure if Copy migrated. It's a multiplayer open world game set in an alternate universe where humanity thrives above an earth in ruin. So this is another partnership for Medicaid. And what this does is it just constantly gives exposure to different communities in the space. So now Copy community learns about Medicaid, right? They've partnered with Wilder World. They've partnered with meme coins. And it's just about continuing to grow the network. So that's the new Medicaid update and news. You got it. Did you buy? Yeah, I did buy more Rio. Yeah, it is made in the USA, which is bullish. I did buy more Rio. And I think Rio is now being added to Solana. So it's primarily on Algorand. It's also on BNB and Ethereum. And I believe I saw that they are also integrating into Solana, which I like. let's get access to all the liquidity on all the chains. $86 million market cap. It's been in this range and holding in this range for a while. Since really, like August through now. This has been around the bottom, 55 cents in September, 55 cents in November. We're at 68 cents. So it's towards the bottom of the range. I started buying this at 10 cents. This is as low as a penny. Here. 2022, as low as a penny. All-time high, $4 last cycle. It came out towards the end of the cycle, and it went back to $3 during the RWA hype. This is back in March. $3 local top. And Larry Fink is going to continue. Don't sleep on RWA. I think that different sectors will top out at different times, and so I'm holding things in different sectors. Because I never know what's going to pop off when. But here he is. This is the biggest asset manager in the world. Says, I want the SEC to approve the tokenization of bonds and stocks. He says that'll send Bitcoin to $500,000. But he is an advocate for tokenization of, our real world assets, including real estate, and that's what they do. This is also super bullish for DevvE, because this is exactly what DevvE does, right? DevvE is able to, and on the DevX exchange, you'll be able to, presumably in the future, trade tokenized bonds and stocks. And in fact, DevvE has an advisor on their team, or one of their team members used to work at BlackRock. So I like exposure there. I added more Rio, and I'm just holding it, and I'm being patient with it, and then I'm going to sell it. Rio currently reminds me of DevvE, where people didn't understand how or why more tokens were being released. Yeah, I agree that Rio is a good buying opportunity. I don't know when. RWA isn't as sexy as AI, but I think it's going to run. You don't know when. I don't know when, but I mean, I do think it's going to run, because you're going to see more headlines like this. And the thing is, like in the middle of an alt season, when people are looking for what's going to run next, this guy caused RWA to run back when Rio hit all-time highs. Right? So when you're in the real middle of an alt season, and then you get like news that, regulatory clarity is coming out on, tokenization of stocks and bonds and real estate, you're going to, and I expect these things to happen in the next year. I think it'll cause a run on RWA stuff. And so right now, it's not hot. It's not sexy, but I'm just holding, and I bought more. Speaking of, oh no, I thought there's something else. Oh, this Anthony Pompliano says that more than 50% of Trump's net worth is in crypto. This is Michael Saylor tweeting about SAB 121 has been rescinded, allowing banks to custody Bitcoin. Here's David Sachs talking about NFTs and meme coins are collectibles. All right, look at all this crazy bullish news. I think we're going to 6 to 9 trillion. Then this is something, and this I bookmarked this tweet by Miles, who I think is smart. But I think this is kind of like emblematic of the current thinking and what's wrong with some people who are anxious or whatever. He said, this cycle is harder than last, no doubt about it. The super easy money days are over. But it's still much easier to make money than other industries. And I think that it's too early to tell. How can you say that the super easy money days are over when we haven't even hit peak alt season? It's like saying, was it super easy in this market in January of 2021? Because it wasn't. In fact, in December of 2020, people were saying that alts were not going to run because we had Bitcoin dominance at 70%. And so how can you compare where we are now without the benefit of hindsight? It's January, and you're comparing where we are now to last alt season. That's not a fair comparison. Wait until May, and then you can say this time was different. But that's why I bookmarked this. Whoops. I always try to click on these tweets and they disappear. All right, let's see what else we got here. Look at this. BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF volume surpasses $1 billion in the first 2 hours of trading today. This was today. $1 billion in the first 2 hours of trading today. The Bitcoin ETF is the most successful ETF launch in history. Yeah. So, all these things are pointing to, and this chart right here is pointing to higher for altcoins. And what's that going to look like? It's going to look like alt season. All right. And so just hang tight. But I do think that it is coming. We're not topped out. We are not topped out. Yeah, he flip-flops. And I feel like people just want to be right. And crypto banter flip-flops. It's because they say what they feel is right or what the majority think in the moment. And it's fear-mongering. And it's very easy to drive people to, be fearful. Right? He says we were spoiled in 2021. How do you know how do you know that we're not going to be spoiled in 2025 if we've just started 2025? This is ridiculous. Right? So Miles says, I think most people need to recalibrate their baseline expectation as we were spoiled in 2021. We were spoiled in 2017 also. Who's to say we're not going to be spoiled in 2025? They trigger me. Well, you don't have to apologize, brother. All right, let's see. Thoughts on games for a living in Myria right now? I mean, there's nothing fundamentally, I'll tell you about games for a living I always liked. Because if there's going to be a gaming run, the games for a living team is top notch narrative wise. Right? You've got the founder of EA Sports. You've got the guy who created King Barcelona, which was they produced Candy Crush, they're the biggest mobile gaming platform. Those guys created games for a living. And so that thesis and narrative is very easy to understand. And people trade narratives. It's an ecosystem. I like that. So I like games for a living. I think fundamentally it hasn't changed. They've invested in some marketing, I see, because they have like TravelAd pushing it. Gaming has been not performing well, except for Metacade has. But the rest of gaming, it hasn't. Here's a CEO. All right, look at these from Activision Blizzard. This is Trip Hawkins, EA Sports. It's in the game. This guy worked on The Crown. I didn't know that. So great team at Games for a Living. I don't know what their games are like. I've only played Metacade's games. But, in terms of Miria, I liked Miria and I held it. I still hold games for a living. I had Miria, I sold it. I think it'll do well. I think it's well known. It's up 22% on the day, which is I don't know what caused that. It's good to see. It's very well known. Alex Becker holds a lot of it. He'll continue to push it once there's a gaming resurgence. All-time high, I think it hit like 150 million or something like that back in the gaming run. A lot of comparisons to Gala. My original thoughts on this when I was buying it and holding it was this could go to $4 billion because that's where Gala went, and it's made in the same vein. To my knowledge, I don't know that they've come out with any games yet. Yeah, I mean, this looks the same as, when I left it a year ago, except for this. But I remember that they have this cricket game that's in the works. But I don't think these games are out yet. I think that it'd be nice for them to release some games. Maybe they did. But yeah, I liked Miria. Yeah, Miles is smart. Like, he talks smart. He's smart. He's young. He's part of the crypto banter crew. And I'm not I'm not, bashing him, but I think that you say these things this is a foolish thing to say. Right? It's foolish. You're speculating based on emotion that people are feeling right now. And then if it flips and, everything goes crazy, he's going to make a video, top 10 AI coins to buy right now, top 10 gaming coins that you need to buy right now. And that's what a lot of these people do. Did you stack? No, I didn't. HX and Velo. There are a lot of good stuff out there. A lot of people say, well, you didn't buy this yet. How can, the thing is, like, I own like 12 to 14 coins. Oh, this is hyper. Yeah. HX, is that it? 500K? So most stuff, here's Velo. There's so many coins out there, and there are a lot of good things. Good chart on the year. Up 400% on the yearly. Yeah, I've looked at this before. I remember. Nice. But can't own them all. Hope it does well. Joss in the house. What's good, brother? Good evening. Walshy in the house, late to the game. What's going on, brother? Let me see what else I got. If I have anything else, it might be running out of things here. Going through my notes. Walshy came in at the end, brother. You're going to have to go back and watch. That's about all I've got at the moment. Just keep it in mind that we're going to get more volatility, I think, this week. I think the market's waiting on next Wednesday, the 29th, for Jerome Powell. And if he is hawkish, expect some volatility. If he's dovish and maybe he comes out with some words that are not as strong as last time, I think Bitcoin's going to new all-time highs. I think we break out from 109 and there's a breakout, and then Bitcoin goes in price discovery. Hopefully we get Ethereum moving. Ethereum has been sideways and stuck. And maybe I'll have Ron on this weekend. He did a good thread on ETH. Still consolidating sideways here. So maybe these things start to run, and then we get what we came for. All season starts to kick in. But keep in mind that the majority of gains are going to be made in a matter of weeks. All right. So 12 weeks, you could get alt season that lasts for 12 weeks. 15 weeks, but the majority of gains coming towards the end. And then maybe things go down for the summer and then come back at the end for one more run. So people underestimate how short of a time span alt season is, but that's the way this game is played. And that's how I think things will play out. Thanks for tuning in, Mcade Vibes. Thanks, Harish. Appreciate you all. I will catch you in the next one. I'll try to come through on Sunday. Have a great weekend, everyone.